again.
Are you recording?
Hold up, we're recording.
Are we?
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay. All right.
Action.
Exciting day today. We finished our biggest test in Isabela. We deployed a total of 20 ducks. We covered, what was it, almost
I think
three.
we did more than that.
We did
Oh, yeah.
24, I think, when I counted from the computer.
You're from the tags?
Was it? Oh, okay.
24.
24.
Covered almost 3 kilometers. It was very interesting because we had it was very different from what we're used to. We had our papa duck up on a cliff. We also had a balloon going where we had a duck tied to that. And then we went down from the cliff. We went down to the beach, and then also we went through the jungle. And so it was a lot of varying topology, and so it was a very interesting interactions that we had there. You went all the way down to the beach. That was also a little fun, but yeah, so it was pretty amazing to also look again at the data. We saw we had the most hops, and so we had broke our record of 8 hops, and we went to all the way up to 10 hops. So that was great to see.
We had a call from Derek. Yo, what's up?
Derek, the MVP. He's the one that put the whole sticker on our ducks and put it in a car, so it made us look official. People were, like giving us a lot of respect.
Okay.
People in the bar actually, I don't know if I'm sure, but people in the bar actually stopped us with our shirts and with our logos.
Yeah,
They're
let's
like, hey,
do it. It's a nice place. Let's absolutely do it here. I don't understand why Liz thinks we're disgusting animals. Like, we have a nice place and we're clean.
Liz thinks we're disgusting, so that was the downside of our trip today.
Liz, why do you think we're disgusting?
Hey, we've got tons of sun. Our back porch is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the bright side,
All right.
it was really sunny.
Yeah,
And
cool. No problem.
our boy Nick took the hit by getting sunburned.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'll help him out by applying this for him tonight. I'm just gonna cut this, right?
Okay. All right. Sounds good, brother. Thank you. All right. Bye. All right. Sorry about that. So Derek. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Where were we?
We're talking about his sunburn.
Yeah, that's if there's one takeaway from this test,
It's
wear sunscreen. When in Puerto Rico, wear sunscreen. And if you're gonna be outside doing a field test,
The sun today was absolutely scorching. On the plus side, I was kind of fascinated that it didn't melt any of our ducks. Like, it was so hot in the middle of the day. Yeah. But it was a good day. I think,
yeah. So what was really exciting was also what was happening not on the ground, but also what was happening in the owl nest. Now that was really amazing because we were able to show while I was down deploying the ducks on Brian's side, he was able to see the little dots popping up on the map wherever we were going, and I think also it was also very impressive for everyone else. I think we're also trying to put together some kind of visualization so you can see what that looked like. But that was really exciting because that's where we really were seeing our system coming into play. And it was where it was saying, hey, we're sending information over this network from a remote area and bringing it all the way back to a central command center where they can make decisions on what to do with that information.
Yeah, it was definitely a game changer. While Dan and I in the mess, we were working on the database and talking about it, we didn't have eyes on the event log, so the visualization actually helped. It was pink. You've got mail. You've got mail. So that it was like more of a sound thing too as well.
I don't know if we told you this, but we dubbed her in the morning Queen Elizabeth.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you did not.
It was British.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I felt the same way. Like, I think it's one thing. Everybody on this team is so technical, not just Owl, but with IBM and Corporate Service Corps, is so technical. And so when we see the logs coming in, it still makes sense to us and it's special in that we can tell the network is functional. But there's something you can't replicate, something visceral about having those visualizations that you can just, it's almost just brainless. You can just watch it and you see the dots popping up like raindrops or fireworks. That it gives everybody that little extra polish of like, this thing is kind of operating on its own. And I think that was a kind of nice conclusion to all this work, that we could witness the network not only functioning, but we could take a step back and just watch it do its thing, and it didn't feel like it was this overly technical machine that could only work in a lab environment. You know, it kind of just looked like it was just out there on its own working.
Yeah.
So I think I wouldn't call today an outrageous success. I think there are ways this could have been even better, but I definitely wouldn't call it a failure. I think everyone was satisfied with what had happened. We dropped a lot of ducks. We saw a lot of dots.
Deployment was also a lot smoother. That was a big improvement from last time. I mean, yes, things could also it could be better, but I mean, I think we're really getting there with how to deploy the ducks. So it went a lot smoother today. I mean, the very beginning it was a little shaky, but once we got the first like 1, 2, third duck down, it just kind of took off on its own. So it was just really kind of learning from those earlier tests, how it really helped us today to be able to get 20 ducks down, and I think almost within the same amount of time as we did on Monday, was it? It was very fast.
Yeah, we did more. Yeah, and the benefit too that we had a little more time today, even though we met with another government official who showed up like an hour late to the meeting, and
Did it freeze?
Yeah.
But yeah,
It was. Yeah.
Other than that, like it was definitely an improvement, especially from our first test in Connecticut. We didn't know what we were doing, so even though these improvements need to be done, like it was definitely a
Yeah,
big
so
improvement.
the thing is that honestly, really, if you look back from what we've done until now, 1 month ago we were testing just 3 ducks, 2, 3 ducks in the basement, and then we went maybe on a road and tried it out, and then how in the past month we've come this far where we have not only deployed 20 ducks but also developed sophisticated architecture behind the scenes, so where we're able to collect a lot more data about the system so we can understand what is happening over the network, and also we've improved our testing system by having a specific testing app. And so I think it's just really kind of amazing to look how far we've gone and how quickly we've progressed since we started working with the CSC team from IBM. And so it's really been a roller coaster. Well, not really a roller coaster, just the things have just been. Like it's been like a whole month-long sprint.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. I mean, I think as much as we view our challenge very technically right now, which makes sense, we're trying to bring a new technology to bear. But I think part of the roller coaster was like, after these two groups, the CSC and OWL, was smushed together, it's like our company just doubled in size. And as much as we love that, and we had such a huge opportunity to work with not just technical people, but these all-stars at IBM, there's still this challenge that, like, we were this small team, and our mentality on everything was like, okay, like, everybody get together in my living room and do things. And then all of a sudden, we have this, like, serious overhead and organizational challenge to solve, and it's not, in any way, it's not at all that we didn't want or need or really enjoy or take advantage of this opportunity. It's just that it was a completely new challenge where everyone was thrown into the deep end like that. was like, okay, everything's changed, figure it out. And I did really appreciate the fact that people were constantly pushing each other. There were tensions, but that there always seemed to be this goal to overcome that and fight to get to where you wanted to be. And more specifically towards the goals, the concrete goals we set out for these tests, we wanted to get a 1 to 2 square mile field test. We did that today. And not only that, but it was in a beautiful location with great people. Press was there. Everyone was having a great time. The ITDRC, Ruth and Derek, set up a grandma balloon that actually worked amazingly for this team. It's just everything seemed to fall into place today. So it felt really positive about that. But just to touch on a couple of the challenges, I think, as we may have mentioned a couple times, that there seems to be this weird range issue where we get a certain amount of range in our testing experiments, but then we go out into the field and the range is just pathetic. Like, we got 400 some odd meters through a stadium at engine 4, and then today, like at various points, we weren't even able to get 150. So we really need to better understand how, just in the most general sense, RF, radio propagation, attenuation, how different types of debris and interference affect that, and how we can optimize our network as a result. Because I think the only really clear way this could have been the absolute best possible test on top of what had happened would be if we were operating each node at 400 meters or whatever, and we dropped it and it just worked and we moved on and there were absolutely no problems. That didn't happen. But at the same time, that's an extremely idealistic scenario. I think it was still a success. Everyone had a great time. We proved viability of the network. We got tons of dots on a map. It was really awesome to witness. And I think we may do another test tomorrow, and there will definitely be more in the future we can expand and improve further.
Yeah, but overall, exciting day. I think it was really amazing to see the whole system come together, not just on the network side, but also on the software side, and kind of seeing those two working together to paint this picture of what was going on down on the ground. And so, yeah, just overall very exciting. We met our goals, and now we just need to continue to make it better.
Yeah. Anything else? That's it? Yeah, I think we got one more test in Camarillo tomorrow. And that's it for Puerto Rico. And then we're planning our next field test for, can we say it? I told the reporter this today.
Oh, you did?
We're planning
Oh, you broke it?
Houston, Texas. Well, I didn't tell anybody else, but we're going to go to Texas. We're going to do this again. And if we can scale up an order of magnitude every time, last weekend and in Bridgewater and Brooklyn, we were doing a 1/10 of a square mile. Today, we did a square mile. In 3 months, 10 square miles. In another 6 months or later from now, 10 times that. This could be a really special network.
All right.
Yep.
What you got there?
That's out.
Ducks out.
Quack out. Or is that the phrase? Ducks out? Should I say?
Quack, quack.